Biem. On October 14, 2016, entrepreneur Doug Foreman stepped into the Shark Tank and asked for $500,000 in exchange for 5% of his company, Biem. He pitched a gadget that could turn a cold stick of butter into a fine spray, priced at $137 and costing $46 to make. 4 sharks offered deals, and Doug accepted Lori Greiner's offer of $500,000 for 14% equity, valuing the company at about $3.6 million. But after the show ended, Greiner walked away when the device proved unreliable and the prototype was behind schedule. Kickstarter backed with $235,000 raised. Biem still shipped late and drew 33 complaints by 2018. By 2019, the website listed everything out of stock. Retail channels disappeared and the market moved on. Kind of ironic. When your butter melts faster than your business, you've sprayed all your chances. HyConn. On May 6, 2011, firefighter machinist Jeff Stroop pitched HyConn on Shark Tank, asking for $500,000 in exchange for 40% equity in his Quick Connect hydrant adapter. The company accepted an offer from Mark Cuban of $1.25 million for 100% equity, a 3-year employment contract at $100,000 per year and 7.5% royalties, yet the deal collapsed during post-show talks. Cuban proposed shifting to a licensing model. Stroop disagreed, and no funds transferred. At the time, HyConn units were priced between $215 and $385 for municipal fire hydrant models. Stroop claimed just 4 departments had purchase orders, while many others balked at the steep cost. Without manufacturing capital and retail traction, HyConn never scaled, and by 2022, the website listed no purchase links. Funny how the world's fastest hose connector lost everything to the world's slowest contract. HillBilly Brand. On April 8, 2011, Mike Abaticchio and Sean Lees stepped onto Shark Tank wearing bright orange shirts stamped with their bold logo, HillBilly Brand. They pitched it as an outdoor lifestyle line for hunters, ranchers, and anyone who lived country proud. Damon John offered $50,000 for 25%, hoping to turn the small label into a real apparel business. Early sales came mostly from local fairs and small outdoor shops, averaging $15 to $25 per item. But scaling exposed the problems fast. Small run printing pushed production costs close to $8 to $10 per shirt, leaving thin margins after shipping and retailer cuts. The brand's identity wasn't clear. Part country humor, part hunting gear, part novelty wear, and big stores passed, calling it too niche to stock nationwide. Online ads burned cash but brought little traffic. Inventory piled up, licensing deals stalled, and monthly sales dropped below $3,000. By 2015, HillBilly Brand faded out quietly. Turns out a loud logo can't save a quiet brand. Body Jac. On September 6, 2009, Cactus Jack Barronge pitched a push-up machine meant to make workouts easier called Body Jac and asked for $180,000 for 20% equity. Barbara Corcoran and Kevin Harrington countered with $180,000 for 50%, dropping the company's value to $360,000 and giving Jack the cash he needed to scale. But once manufacturing began, the math stopped working. Jack had claimed each unit cost $20 to $30 to build and could retail for $89 to $129. The Body Jac used several parts, tricky straps, and a bulky frame that didn't fit well in small homes. Users said it felt awkward and didn't match the smooth push-ups shown on TV. Production costs rose, returns increased, and the heavy design made shipping expensive. Fitness stores passed, saying it didn't solve a problem people actually had. By 2012, the company had quietly shut down, its value falling to zero. Barbara later admitted it was her worst investment on the show. She later joked she bought the only unit that truly worked, just not for her business. Foot Fairy. On May 16, 2014, entrepreneurs Dr. Sylvie Shapiro and Nicole Brooks walked into Shark Tank asking for $75,000 in exchange for 15% of their app called Foot Fairy. Their product measured kids' feet using an iPad and linked users to shoe buying. 13,144 downloads locked in early traction. Mark Cuban offered $100,000 for 40% equity, but the deal fell apart after due diligence uncovered shaky tech. Parents reported measurements shifting by half a size depending on how a child stood, and some readings missed by more than a full size, triggering returns and complaints. Retailers balked at inconsistent data. App downloads slowed. Updates lagged. The tech couldn't match the claim. Within 6 months of airing, Foot Fairy shut down and the app disappeared. Turns out even magic fairies can't fix bootcamp-sized business problems. ShowNo Towels. When Shelley Ayler walked into Shark Tank on February 10, 2012, she carried a stack of bright poncho-style towels she called ShowNo. Her pitch was simple. A $20 towel that helped kids change at the pool without flashing the whole neighborhood. Lori Greiner saw potential and put in $50,000 for 25%, expecting big orders from water parks and swim schools. But once production began, the math didn't work. Each towel cost nearly $8 to make in small batches, leaving thin margins after shipping and retail cuts. Then came knockoffs, $6 versions on Amazon and eBay, copying the shape and undercutting show, no within weeks. Swim shops passed, saying parents wouldn't pay extra for a towel that didn't solve a real problem. Online sales dipped below $1,000 a month, and inventory piled up. By 2013, ShowNo quietly dried out. Funny how a towel designed to cover kids couldn't cover its own costs. You smell soap. When Megan Cummins walked onto Shark Tank on February 3rd, 2012, she held a stack of beautifully wrapped bars she called You Smell, each handmade and priced at $7. Her pitch was about turning soap into a small luxury. Robert Herjavec offered $55,000 for 20%, plus a plan to fund mass production. But once she left the studio, the numbers turned rough. Manufacturers quoted more than $3 per bar, and the high-end packaging added another $1.25, leaving almost no profit. Then a big order of 20,000 bars fell through when the supplier delivered samples that were low quality and mislabeled. Fixing the mistake would cost more than the entire investment. Without cash or inventory, the brand stalled. By 2013, You Smell disappeared from stores. It seems funny how a company built on great sense got sunk by bad numbers. Sweet Ballz. In 2013, a small dessert company called Sweet Ballz exploded in popularity the moment its cake balls appeared on Shark Tank. Priced at about $3 a box, the treats won over Mark Cuban and Barbara Corcoran, who invested $250,000 for 25% after tasting them. The exposure triggered a surge. More than $100,000 in online orders arrived in days, and distributors requested tens of thousands of units. But success pushed the founders in opposite directions. Cole Egger created a competing brand, Cake Balls, and diverted over half the website traffic to his own store. A lawsuit followed, freezing $200,000 plus in pending orders and stopping production entirely. Retailers backed away while legal fees ate through the profits. Sales collapsed by more than 80% in a single year, and the brand faded from shelves. Amazing how a dessert made to share can disappear when the founders refuse to. ToyGaroo. In early 2011, Nikki Pope launched ToyGaroo, a subscription service where parents paid $24.99 to $42.99 a month to rent name-brand toys instead of buying them. When the company appeared on Shark Tank, Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary invested $200,000, expecting the model to scale the same way Netflix once did with DVDs. The first wave of customers arrived fast, but the costs arrived faster. High-demand toys often ran $60 to $80 each, and many came back scratched, cracked, or with missing pieces. Every shipment cost another $10 to $15, and damaged returns meant buying new inventory constantly. ToyGaroo needed thousands of toys to keep up, but the cash simply couldn't stretch that far. Refunds increased, waitlists grew, and repairs ate through the remaining budget. By April 2012, ToyGaroo filed for bankruptcy. Turns out renting toys works great, until real kids get involved. Breathometer. On September 27, 2013, entrepreneur Charles Michael Yim pitched Breathometer on Shark Tank, seeking $250,000 for 10% of his smartphone breath analyzer business. All 5 sharks, Mark Cuban included, invested a combined $1 million for 30% equity, excited about a pocket breathalyzer that could prevent drunk driving. Initially, sales surged. Devices priced at $49 and $99 shipped to early buyers and raised over $138,000 on Indiegogo. Trouble erupted when the Federal Trade Commission found the breathalyzer underreported blood alcohol content and ordered refunds in January 2017. Cuban later claimed Yim spent more time in Bora Bora, then Vegas, then Necker Island than working on the company, and the money seemed to disappear. The company pivoted to oral health tech, but by 2023, it was effectively defunct. Cuban later admitted he lost his entire $500,000 share of the investment, all from a gadget meant to save lives that couldn't count a breath.